Skinny Pete wants hoodies, checkered shoes, studded belts, and a dark cloud that follow you around as a badge of honor that you needed therapy. This isn't sponsored by BetterHelp.com, but I wish it was because I could use the money. Even Chipotle is hopping on the bandwagon. It's probably just one of the edgy dudes who works for the social team, but fair warning, the Y2K is on death watch. Then we have to wait for the When We're Middle-Aged festival to revive in 2040. Some would say nostalgia is the refinement of older things. Well, no one's really saying that. I am. But in all reality, people don't really want anything that's new. They just want better versions of what worked in the past. Little 80s, little 90s, and in the current day, a lot of Y2K. Let's be honest, I don't see anyone calling up the cable company to downgrade the dial-up. In the olden days of technology...
What technology?
Sorry, I mean resources. People used to have to go to recording studios to make records who couldn't play that well. Things get better. At one point in time, girls were wearing shoulder pads because I guess they wanted to look more broad. Janko jeans that were so long and baggy that you smell like a sewer rat. Actually, the Ninja Turtles hung out in sewers and they were pretty big in the 90s, so scratch that. At one time or another, everything was a first, and often the music that would cut through and make history was the cream of the crop. A1 steak sauce, Carvel of its time, Haagen-Dazs, no, Ben & Jerry's. Where am I going with this? I'm not gonna name a bunch of artists from the 20s. I'm not an expert, I don't really love the music, and my grandparents weren't even alive then. So let's fast forward to some shit that I actually do know.
And then I'm just not gonna be talking about a bunch of shit that I don't really know, and I have music like this, and everyone's like this, and like Windows, Fred Doors, Y2K, 2000, all that stuff.
My name's jsky. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about the 2000s Y2K craze that's happening today. Where it's going, where it's headed, and when it'll die. So with that being said, let's get into this shit, dog. In a time where AI is forcing its way in, robots are doing deliveries, self-driving cars, and ChatGPT's writing our school papers somewhat poorly. And if you're not careful, you're gonna find the robot fucking your girl. Just saying. Don't get mad at me, dude. The robot's kind of the man. You said so yourself. I think a big part of the revival is trying to tap into a more simple time period, like riding your BMX bike around the suburbs, calling your friends to talk on the phone, or even just knocking on the door. Growing up, I don't remember anyone having a debit card. If anything, it was just a credit card. Cash ruled the world, we saved coins and scribbled on notepads. Don't schools give out Chromebooks now? The thing is, we didn't have these objects or resources. There was very little on TV. Stations like MTV, Disney, Cartoon Network played whatever the newest episode was all week long until the next one. But in today's day and age, we have full reign over what we choose to search, engage with, or even create. Ruled by algorithms and trends. That sentence makes me sound like I'm good at math. Wow. But when will this Y2K bubble burst? How long could pretending to play on low-quality Xbox games last? We've surpassed the graphics visually, and they don't even sell them in stores. I think it's this overcomplicated world coming in the 2026 that's romanticized this 2000s Y2K revival. Things always come from the underground, and as soon as things catch wind in the mainstream, they're on their way out. For example, the pop-punk MGK era, Travis Barker producing everyone, Olivia Rodrigo, Good For You, Will's pop-punk tracks, pink hair, fishnets, studded belts. For a while, pop-punk was cool and ruled the world. Then someone's mom made a viral TikTok and that all went away overnight. It was fun while it lasted, but died quickly. I remember in 2017 when I first went to the OG emo night in Brooklyn, it was so fresh and so rare, being in a room with people who actually liked this music. I jumped so high it was my admission to feeling like a true elder emo. My knees are still fucked. In fact, the term elder emo wasn't even a thing yet. This was the beginning of the Warped Tour pop-punk revival that peaked between 2020 and 2023. A quick follow-up to the short-lived emo rap era. I have other videos where I talk in depth about emo rap, so if that's of interest to you, check it out. Skinny Pete wants hoodies, checkered shoes, studded belts, and a dark cloud that follow you around as a badge of honor that you needed therapy. This isn't sponsored by BetterHelp.com, but I wish it was because I could use the money. Much like the 80s, the early 2000s was corny as fuck. Tall tees, shiny shirts, low-waisted ripped jeans, Ed Hardy, polo shirts with another one layered under it. This time period was heavily blended with urban culture, pop, and rock. In a time where the internet was finally good and accessible, it had a massive impact over the world and pop culture influence as we know it. One of the reasons why I think nostalgia is coming back so heavily right now is everything that's good has nearly been done. In the late 70s through the 80s, we had Led Zeppelin, Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Sabbath, Beastie Boys, and Public Enemy. These were big influences for modern bands during the late 90s and early 2000s, but I think we got it right back then. Now we're just using technology to make them sound better, more advanced versions of the same songs and productions we once loved. And that VHS, classic camcorder, grainy, out of focus look, it's coming back hot. On eBay, on Facebook, these cameras are being sold for hundreds of dollars because they're so in demand. But sooner or later, labels and major artists are gonna manufacture the sound and this look. There's only a handful of artists on the internet doing this Y2K nostalgia thing, and it's pretty dope. It feels sick, and I predict a major pop-off moment happening sooner than later. You see it inkling into things with artists like Julia Wolf and Machine Gun Kelly, but it's not quite the same way that's happening in the underground. It's similar to other genres I'm gonna talk about in just a second. There's a ton of underground artists all over the internet just fucking making really dope music that's super nostalgic, and I think they're setting the trend for what these bigger artists are going to be doing next. And this pop-off moment is coming sooner than later. I predict in the next year or two, you're gonna see it all over the charts. I've been predicting trends like this since college with my pop punk band, Kill Madonna. While everyone was rocking skinny jeans and dick-riding indie music with their little mustaches, I was out there on stage fucking doing breakdowns. I even did it with my duo, Don't Tell Julie. We had nostalgic videos shot on an iPhone by me, just dressing up in Y2K shit. And this is like 3 years ago already. And now with my current group, 5 Day Weekend, with our new single, Summer '01, extra shameless plug, but fuck it, it's my video. Screeching Weasel with their song All in My Head reminds me of Fall Out Boy's song Saturday off the Take This to Your Grave album.
I'm good to go, and I'm going nowhere fast.
And the Descendants in the song I'm the One. Their music video features nurses, just like in All the Small Things. And if you've ever seen the Foo Fighters music video for Everlong, it reminds me so much of the Descendants music video, When I Get Old, as well as some shots from Bush music videos. This is the same way we're seeing Blink-182 influence modern pop punk bands today. Cause when I was growing up, biting on someone's style was a no-no. You'd be called a poser, but it's different today. People are blatantly biting, ripping off, referencing, even using band names in the song titles. Pop punk bands like 408 have a music video with Kellen Quinn, Magnolia Park, called Mark Hoppus. This is a direct bite on Blink-182. They're even reenacting All the Small Things in the music video. It's like a parody, but a real song. And bands like The Paradox calling themselves the Black Blink-182.
Calling us Black 182. Yeah. I'm Tom DeSlong. We've got Dark Hoppus and Travis Darker all up here on the stage right now. The only difference between us and Blink is our height comes from the waist down. Except me.
Barry Hendrix. This dude's blowing up doing 2000s pop punk emo songs with hella auto-tune.
Chill out, what you yelling for?
If you go to his YouTube, he has Avril Lavigne's Complicated cover pinned to the top of his page, but this time it has 808s. Kinda dope. Newer artists like Julia Wolf, you could see them using that digitized Y2K aesthetic like in her music video for In My Room. And her song Jennifer's Body, which is a huge direct reference to the 2000s cult classic Jennifer's Body starring Megan Fox. But really, she's like Twilight Core, a darker version of the early 2000s Hot Topic, not so cool baddie. Even hosting a private performance at Bella Swan's house from the movie. You could check it out on YouTube. Fun fact, I've been a fan of hers for like 7 years, when she was a smaller artist, aspiring to be something bigger, living in Astoria, Queens. At the time, she sounded like the female Drake, with songs like Hoops. And she couldn't have been farther from alternative or new metal like her current music is now. And at one point in time, there was even a video that was super Y2K. It was like years ago. I think it was just her like at a drive-in or just a screen just showing a bunch of Y2K and nostalgic stuff. She was far ahead of her time, but it's since been scrubbed, probably since she got signed to the major label deal for like copyright things. The difference is people are not so secretive of their influence anymore. Since the mid-2000s Emo Night Brooklyn era, we see more and more throwbacks in this fashion. When I was growing up, nothing was worse than biting someone's style. And here's a little story for you. I was starting middle school and I literally lost a friend over some mid-top Air Force Ones with the black stitches. Shit was fresh as fuck, but I copied him and I showed up to the bus stop wearing them. But I don't really want to talk about that. You could hear more about it in my latest drop with 5 Day Weekend, Summer '01. Just another shameless plug. People want to be the Y2K so bad that they're printing literal magazines again. And for $20 plus shipping, you could have your own copy of New Magazine. Shit looks pretty dope, and actually, I'd like to have a couple copies of those myself. It's always a bad sign when you see legacy artists such as John Feldman from the band Goldfinger, who did a video with old phones. You can see it on his Instagram for a song, Chasing Amy. But he's an OG and scored the theme for the Tony Hawk game. Not to mention, he made half of my favorite songs, so he gets a pass. Even Chipotle is hopping on the bandwagon. It's probably just one of the edgy dudes who works for the social team, but fair warning, the Y2K is on death watch. Then we have to wait for the When We're Middle-Aged festival to revive in 2040. And I don't want to leave out the heavier shit with some screamier alternative bands, including I Promise the World with their song A Pure Expression. They're on Rise Against Records, and they sound like 2005 Mall Screamo, Under Oath type beat. It's a bummer Little Lotus band If I Die First didn't keep pushing, because if they did, they would be fucking bopping right now. Underbrook with their song Stand Down. They sound like Brand New meets The Starting Line with a garage music video. Death by Dishonor, in the music video, they're in a park playing on Guitar Hero guitars. They sound like shitty DIY death metal that was recorded from MySpace in 2004. Old deathcore, metalcore demos type shit. Bands and artists are drawing what came before them. They're elevating it and they're sending it out into the world. With a new coat of paint, some low-rise jeans, and maybe a tramp stamp. And we as fans, the consumer, the customer, whatever man, we're gonna eat it up. We're reminded of what we had when we were younger and how dope it is. And it's giving us a chance to time travel a little bit. We don't have much time left until the robots take over, so we better enjoy this Ed Hardy revival while we still can. Insert obscure 2000s reference here in the comments. I appreciate everyone for tuning into the video. Super passionate about alternative music, pop punk, and everything I talked about from the Y2K and 2000s era. That's a time that I was growing up, and it just means a lot to me in general. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to talk about in the next video. Until next time, peace.